Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this, Dust. Obviously, we haven't casted Split today. I think with Split, you could maybe see some different agents come into play. It's not unheard of to see a Sage or maybe even a Viper. Do you expect to see either of those?
Could see a Viper out of Dignitas, I think. I know that some of them have played Viper in the past on Split, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Looks like the answer to that question is a resounding nah, Chief. No Viper.
Do you see a breach, though? That's a bit of a change on both teams.
Yeah,
Makes
but
sense.
this is the one map that crashies comes off of playing like a Sova or something, because no Sova ever gets played on this map, and so this is the one map where you will see him step out on breach. So kind of par for the course for this team.
Both teams have decided to elect themselves a breach, and the Cloudburst forces back the defenders. Dignitas won the toss. They decided to go defense, and supamen with the ghost with 3 quickfire frags and really gets a 4th. Wasn't far off onto mummAy, who survives, albeit on 20 HP.
Man, that was impressive from supamen. Again, just showing you the aim that he's got on him. He is definitely a skilled player. Big hold. We are going to see mummAy getting out of there. I believe he does. Yeah, he does not have spike. He's just trying to find a new angle of approach here through mail, but I think that it's going to be covered just fine by Psalm. So I think he's left. Oh, if he dies as a turret, bro, please. I need that. He's got low health, turrets in position. Mate. Nah, he's just going to bypass it. That would have been great, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and maybe with the trajectory that he's taken, the route that he's got to this point, they won't expect it. They do expect it, but he's still too fast on the trigger. 5 seconds. No forthcoming kill onto Psalm. And to be honest, even if he did get that kill, all Breach has to do is just sit in and wait, and the time would have done the rest for them.
Yeah, so I mean, when I'm looking at the agents, I mean, it looks pretty standard for Envy at least. I don't know so much about Dignitas' comps with this new lineup, but as far as what everyone's playing for Envy is what you expect. I mean, finesse is always going to be, you know, on that Cypher. This is one of the maps where Food will pick up Omen so that they can see mummAy on Jett. Typically always going to see kaboose playing Raze. So, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much what I thought you would see based on previous split matches from Envy.
Recharge comes out. First connect. Forces back the defenders. So much utility. Cloudburst, nano swarms. The whole 9 yards have been put into place with some cages for good measure. Ends a bit of a stalemate, and now Envy decide to change up their avenue of aggression. They go back via sewers to middle. Now, some damage is forthcoming to crashies, but nothing too significant.
Yeah. Now they're just swarming up over here on the Envy side of things. Look to do a B split play, try to maybe get control of Mail, work into B heaven. They had 2 members waiting. This is where that Jett dash and, you know, Raze blast back combination can be oh so powerful for mobility to play off the back of Breach's flashes and really just swarm into a site.
Good, getting it done with a stinger, but runs out of ammunition and does get punished. Storm deals with him. Here comes the aftershock, and has been planted. Frenzy goes in for 1, but that's all they'll get post-plant. It's a decent round, though, for Envy, all things considered. But Dignitas only losing 2 players, I'll be happy with the outcome.
Thing was, Envy invested into that. You know, at least they had 1 stinger that they invested into, so even with the spike plant, their economy might still be in kind of a weird place where they can't really buy, and yeah, that's going to be the case. Just going to be upgraded pistols and sheriffs coming in. If they had invested less and got that spike plant, they might have been able to buy immediately here, but not going to be the case. So Dignitas off to a good start here on the defense. Again, this is one of the maps where Envy does have a lower attack win percentage. I think it's like a little over 40%. Obviously a map that can be very defensive sided for a lot of teams, if we're honest. A lot of tight choke points.
Envy playing slowly up middle, not giving any information away. And it beats the 1-tap onto dephh, who never saw it coming.
Wow.
He's taking a dirt nap. And Envy switch across to a Spectre. With middle control and very little damage done against them, they're in a good position.
Yeah, deph's got the Looney Tune canaries flying around his head right now. He got absolutely beamed. That's giving Envy a lot of control over towards Mail and ropes, is forcing scrambling out of Dignitas' rotations, and even with low firepower, Envy can pose a threat here based on positioning alone.
That is dirty. It's 2. And a 3rd. And the spike down. And indeed, the round will follow. You could see him ping. He knew exactly what was coming up.
Now it's just going to be about how Envy wants to open attacking side. Again, they can play default with kind of Cypher being that A lurk, and they usually use Raze for pressure on B lobby, but they're also a team that doesn't play default very often. Again, I feel like I'm, you know, kind of a broken record, but it is just so true that Envy likes to do those, you know, early burst type strategies in the early round moments, whether that be bursting through middle to get male control and splitting B, or whether that just be, you know, set pieces on either side of the map. And you can see here they're focused up with 3 on this B lobby, but we're going to see Dignitas push in as well.
Push coming through. Paint shells forcing Psalm away. He had a phenomenal start on our first map of Bind.
And they need to push this Reyna offense. They need to get him out of there, and that's big, because now they can go for the Breach Flash and the Blast Pack combo on Raze with the Jett dash. Or they could just fall off and just play against the rotations. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. They're going to go to Ramen and watch for the mid push.
Paint shells are pulled out. The timing could not have been worse. And Orderus gets punished, but supamen now stepping up with 2 of his own before he gets silenced. And a 2v2 falls upon us, but mummAy with 3 HP does have the operator, so at least has the ability to instantly silence somebody, but this is looking grim again for Envy.
I'm surprised they didn't just follow up that pick on Reyna. They're usually a team that would explode off of something like that, especially when you already have the Jett and Reyna in position to jump in, and you had the breach there for flashes. It just seemed like they would just roll it open. That's the Envy I'm used to seeing, but they decided to be a bit more reserved, fall back to Ramen, watch for a mid-push, just try to play their numbers advantage, which is fair enough. It's not necessarily a wrong approach, but they got caught up a little bit there, and now it's an even 2-on-2. They're trying to get into defensive spawn. dephh is watching if they come B-side. Indeed they are. They're going to fall right into his hands, but the timing might get him.
The timing has got him, and they have enough time to get the spike down as well. That's so brutal. He was looking at the perfect spot, and he thought better of it. He will be so upset about this outcome unless MAKKA can get the 1v2. Flashpoints tossed out, making moves in. Perfect angle, takes down the spy camp. But the first kill is too far away from him. Finesse puts him down with authority, and Envy get across the finish line for the first time in an all-important 3rd map decider.
That's a big round to get for Envy. I mean, obviously they were slow to start because their economy was in tatters after the kind of force buy in round 2. But now that they got the full buy there, they were able to get an immediate victory, which is great news for them. And now they're going to pivot and look to put pressure on A ramps early between, you know, Cypher's cam and the blast pack and Jett opping and all the mobility that she has. They can really put the hurting on B ramps control, but that's a great combination there, the stun and the nade. But mummAy still comes up with the frag anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like they played it a little bit too slowly. Raze was getting up there after the fault line connected, but didn't quite make the most of it. Got put down. That puts Dignitas into a really awkward position. Backs to the wall.
Oh, legged.
How did that shot not kill? I think he jumped up and got legged instead of the outright frag. He's been dropped down very, very low, dephh, but still alive. There's another player that they have to weed out from the site. The flash is good, but so is kaboose's aim. From the shadows, popped in the meanwhile. Looking to scatter the adversaries. And a post plant will be coming up momentarily.
Yeah, Spike going down, and Omen's on a massive flank of defending spawn through the B site, and we'll be able to come over and stop these weapons from being saved. Gets caught, though, throwing smokes down to help cover heaven and screens for his teammates who are playing post plane at A. Understandable, and it's not really going to harm the round at all. They're still going to come out with the victory, but it would have been nice if he could have had his gun out and maybe stopped a couple players from saving. That would have been pretty sick. So it will be 3-2, still in favor of Dignitas, but Envy are quickly looking to surpass them.
Really awkward moment. I think both dephh and also Food were switching weapons or switching to, you know, abilities, and that's why he had this prolonged moment where they just looked at each other.
Yeah, Food had just thrown a smoke, I think, at heaven on A side, right as dephh came around the corner. Crashies will still stop one from saving. Yep,
exactly. So, as awkward as it was for supamen, or pardon me, Food, it doesn't really matter.
I'm be curious what they're going to do here. They have Rolling Thunder available for crashies, so that's obviously a very powerful tool for getting map control or executing a site. Definitely can be used in tandem. In fact, they have almost all their ults except for food. Haven't had to go to them just yet, so it's going to give them a lot of extra utility for however they choose to play things. They're playing things a little bit more mid-focus this time. They still have, of course, Finesse lurking outside A, but no presence B lobby. Just looking to come up mid. They're smoking off ropes, looking to take a peek into Male. This is kind of your bread and butter, I guess you would say, on this map, on how teams like to open up default. There is not much of a mid defense, though. It's just kind of Omen playing super passive at B Heaven. Normally you see like a double B Heaven defense, but there's only one right now, but Reyna is rotating over. As ropes has been cleared by the boom bot.
Yeah, they put down a lot of utility from Killjoy, from depth up there, nano swarms and all that stuff. Odorous will be tested momentarily. How's his resolve? Paint shell straight down. This could do a lot of damage. And a satchel behind it, single-handedly pushing them back, but he's lost so much damage in return. It only stalls them for a few more seconds. They're now taking control. Flashpoint out, trying best to stave off the pressure. Aftershock also tossed in for good measure. Dignitas feel like this is a ruse. They actually send away players.
30 seconds
but
left.
it was a ruse. It's a B-sided hit. Kaboose dealing with supamen as the spike goes down. And now dephh, posted at the back of the attack side, is looking to see if maybe he can stall away the aggressors for a little bit longer for the cavalry to arrive. Killjoy popping down the ultimate.
Big.
It instantly gets destroyed from the showstopper, and that is huge for Envy.
Yeah, their whole retake attempt was predicated on that lockdown, and to have it completely shot down by the showstopper before they could even really get started was huge. So great attacking play here from Envy. When you have that combination of having presence towards B Heaven and Male, and you take ropes, and you push off A Heaven, I mean, the world is your oyster at that point, attacking-wise. Like, you are just loving life because you can cause so much havoc in your opponent's rotations. You can pick them apart. You can just do the split pressure and then just make a final decision. And they found a perfect gap there on that B side. So 3 in a row here for Envy, looking to try to still close out this series and move on to the playoffs tomorrow. To have a shot at getting one of those 4 slots available for first strike taking place in this Nursery Gamers tournament.
1-1 on match. 3-3 in round score, and a flawless fault line landing on 2 players. Yeah. Forces away Envy. They cannot push too aggressively, but they decide to keep going in regardless.
Yeah, it's kind of an empty gesture, right? There's no follow-up to it. So, I mean, that's all great, but it's almost utility that doesn't really have too much of an impact when it's all said and done. They will just kind of walk in here and spot MAKKA. He's now going to be paranoid. He's trying to stay alive as long as he can, but he gets found out by Finesse, and Literal Theft is going to be deployed as well, and I don't see how Dignitas get back into this. They're going to have to work fast.
Spike planted.
Put up close really quickly. The food with 2, it was a bait and switch.
Yep. That was real flashy. I love that.
Me too, man. It looked really sick when Taylor was shot.
I mean, I think that mummAy wanted to hit the operator shot up for honest, Vince. You know, I think that it wasn't completely calculated that way, but hey, it works.
And just going back to that point that you made before about the empty gesture, that could have actually done more harm than good to Dignitas, because once they see there's no follow-up peek, it's like, well, is this a weakened site?
Yeah.
Is that why Breach has gone in for this? Because he feels pressured to hold it alone? Just rush him.
And stall? Yeah, exactly. I think it does kind of tell that he's looking to stall because they're trying to get aggressive somewhere else in the map, whether that be B lobby or middle, which is exactly what Dignitas were doing. They had a very mid-focused defense there.
The bluff was called, and now Envy take the lead. They were 3-0 down, if I'm correct, on that one as well, Dust, right? They got the pistol in the subsequent rounds?
Yep. Fast mid control here from Envy as well, by the way, looking to get that early pressure on Male, as well as ropes. And again, this is what you'd love to have attacking side. It gives you so many options. Whoop, the boost spots Reyna there on the balcony.
Crashies with the headshot, but MAKKA holding the ropes, backs away to the A tower. Middle control established again, not for the first time on Envy. Dignitas haven't seemed too interested in trying to hold this really any of the rounds.
Yeah. Kind of different seeing Food be kind of this lurk with Omen, but what he's setting up for is a paranoia into B heaven from Ramen. So if they decide to double back after A heaven, he can paranoia in and allow them to really comfortably take B heaven. But it could also be that they just commit to the A heaven side. They're getting a lot of space here.
Fault lines coming in from the shadows, popped in as well.
30 seconds
Food
left.
will perch up at the back of the site. Dignitas will know this is a distinct possibility. There's not much time left, but kaboose is now putting bullets to faces, and Sam also chips in with one. They had no idea that MAKKA could be up close. You could see Food had his knife out of all weapons. And now he starts to go for that plant.
10 seconds
With
left.
10 seconds to spare.
Spike planted.
He will get it done. How's your aim? Be very little room for error for kaboose. He gets the first, it's his third kill in the round, but supamen will not miss. Pulls the trigger, gets a fourth round for Dignitas. They're first in 4.
Yeah, gonna be tough in a 1v2 and you have to pop that leer to just give yourself vision. It's a good attempt there from Envy. I mean, it's a great use of Food's ult to clear out A side. They had good A heaven control. They're definitely doing all the right things, but a great recovery there from Dignitas. Great fragging. Great play from Psalm once again with this Reyna, his new role. It's been playing really well overall throughout this series, even against the heavy loss in the last map. It's been nice to see, as we are going to see Envy looking to just go full send on A right away. Everyone is here. They have no presence anywhere else on the map. They are not messing around. They want to get in there with the breach flashes and just charge in with Raze and Jett.
Utility is plentiful, good ult line, but again, not fully capitalizing on this, although dephh has gone in for 2. Pardon me, mummAy does come back with one of his own. dephh did a great job. The first time we've really seen him play too aggressively outside of there, but crashies making the most. Orderus just runs into his demise.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe they got a bit too carried away with their success.
We'll see. They still have a lot to use, right? They still have 1 flashpoint left on MAKKA. They still have his ult if they need it. They have their Omen has already flanked through B and is inside. That's supamen by Ramen. There is going to be the juxtaposing ults there from Breach.
Rolling Thunder cancels the Rolling Thunder. Things you love to see. And now, the Aftershock takes down Food. That's something you see too often.
I thought he would be able to get away from that, considering the positioning, but does not. mummAy will get eradicated there. Great defense now being put up by Dignitas. They're starting to make their adjustments on covering some of these fast-paced hits from Envy. Starting to get their footing now defensively. They've won 2 in a row. Economy is starting to dwindle just a little bit for Envy. They can still full buy here, though. No problem there.
Credit to Dignitas, though. We discussed how they could shake themselves off after that very rough map of Ascents.
Yeah.
Felt like they were about to go back into familiar territory, but they've won the last 2.
Yeah.
Whether they can connect the dots for a 3rd time is yet to be seen. If they do, it would put Envy's economy in awkward shape.
Yeah. You know what is interesting is seeing Orderus, by the way, has been playing Raze. You know, instead of having the operator prioritize for him, as he would often do, it's just been dephh, you know, the solo operator with Killjoy defensively. I don't know that Envy would have expected that. I think they would have, you know, expected to see Orderus with it.
Dark covers are plenty. mummAy is using one of them as his residence for the time being. Another one tossed down into the B tower.
Yeah, there's
pulling the plug.
big B heaven defense set up though from Dignitas, and they already have their Omen pushed into B lobby to watch for the split potential. So they have a good defense set up for this. It's going to be tough for Envy to crack open if they're going to commit to B side. And they really have no way of knowing that they're up against this.
Yeah, you feel like this is where maybe Breach is going to be worth his weight in gold if he can get a good flash off or maybe a fault line.
I dropped the spike.
Could be one of their key ways of just cracking into B tower and maybe making the most of it. But Psalm is up close. They also have dephh with the operator just behind him. It's a bait and switch and it works to perfection. It's a hit and run, and Psalm lives to tell the tale. He's out of there. 20 seconds to play with. Showstopper's been picked up. A kill will be forthcoming to Orderus. And Dignitas, a flawless hold, losing minimal damage in the process. And Envy's economy's been shattered.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Dignitas to go for that stack over towards B. They had Omen Prus, like I said, supamen there in that corner of B lobby, having complete read on if anyone was coming that direction. They had dephh, you know, being dynamic with how he's moving that operator around defensively, keeping Envy guessing when they need to worry about that weapon. This has been a great response from Dig to win 3 in a row and keep Envy up against the ropes in a way. I mean, they never really allowed them to build up too much of a lead. And Dignitas have taken that position right back away from them. Aggressive mid-smoke here from Dignitas. They're not really playing off the back, but they're just hoping it kind of keeps Envy honest on how fast they work up middle. As we do see that Dignitas are likely going to have to defend against an Envy B burst play. Again, they like to do the Raze blast packing with the breach flashes to just kind of pounce in here, and we'll see how it works.
Fire in the hole!
Has been picked up. Doesn't get any kills, though. Orderus goes in with the first. It's a great flashpoint, and mummAy makes the most of that. Headshot onto Sam. They came into this round with 2 sheriffs. Economy was in real trouble, but they're making what little they had work. Jett again is having a lot of impact with this operator, but he finally falls prey to mummAy. And that will be all down to MAKKA, but not for much longer. There we go. Envy finally get themselves back into winning ways.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you always expect from Envy when you see that breach Raze combination into B lobby that early. You know that the blast pack combo is coming. And even if it doesn't get a kill, what it does is create space. Then they're able to use their cyber cages and such to kind of block off that initial crossing point and just start closing in on the site and, you know, get those close quarters battles, and they were able to win those, and that gets them their 5th round with 1 round left to go in the half. So overall, considering that they lost pistol and the force buy, to get 5 rounds on attack on a map they normally struggle to get attacking rounds on, this is great for Envy. Especially because their defense is so strong on this map.
Well, you feel this is going to get no easier for Dignitas come the second half, that's for sure. But Sam is taking the initiative. He plays aggressive, getting behind the attackers, and this could be a bloodbath. There's 1, and a 2nd, and a 3rd. Sam sprays them down. They get aggressive elsewhere with supamen and Orderus, but Sam take a bow. That was absolutely immaculate play.
Yeah, surprised he was able to move that quickly with stones that big. But he indeed was able to slide right into Ramen and have himself a feast. Fantastic aggressive play to catch Envy off guard there to maintain a solid lead going into the second half. Saw a lot of good things at Dignitas that half, but also did see Envy, again, have quite the recovery, considering how the half started. For them to come out and get that streak of attacking rounds going. Again, you got to see them put their best foot forward. You got to see them play their style of Valorant, and it worked out for quite some time. They still have a great chance to close the gap, especially if they can win this pistol. And especially considering how strong their defense is. They have an 88% round win rate on split.
Oof, that's nothing to sniff at, is it? Very impressive. But Dig has been solid over the duration of this best of 3. And if they were to win this pistol dust and, you know, convert as they've done today, they're looking at a potential 10-5 lead, and that would really mount the pressure on Envy. That's where we'd see what they're truly made of.
Cover going out.
And we can see that Dignitas are looking to put the pressure on A ramps here early. Pretty much all of their personnel is in this direction. They haven't already crossed over towards A heaven with a couple of their players. A couple still left behind with the spike.
Shadows traveling.
Smoke's going up though from Fu to try to stall them from wanting to commit into the site itself. It also stops him from realizing how many people are crossing back and forth towards ramp. So they don't have quite the idea on the numbers being committed here to A heaven. Here comes the execute now.
Clears, flashpoints, everything you can ask for, and it's an even trade to kick things off. Now Envy, though, picking up the slack, running away with the round. It all falls onto dephh.
30 seconds
down
left.
just to make sure he doesn't get flanked, but that's instantly been destroyed. And although he tries to right-click himself into victory, it's finesse on the drive-by that gets the second pistol going the way of Envy. And this is maybe where their mammoth defense side starts to take shape.
And also just to make a correction, that 88% I believe is with this 5. If you look at the core of Envy and you know, the 23 maps or so that they've played, you know, with the bulk of their team, I believe it's closer to like 74% win rate on defensive side. Still very high though.
Yes, this should do. Oh, this is a nice spot.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't paint a good picture for Dignitas, does it? We'll see. Maybe they can prove the naysayers wrong. I think, to a degree, to be in a third map would certainly be living up to that mark, so maybe they can go in again. Except for this round, though, it's pretty grim. You got classics. I think they got a sheriff in play, maybe, but it's really, really low-tier investment. Just hoping, really, that Envy make a couple of missteps. Maybe move out into the open and give Rap the weapon away, but I severely doubt that's going to come to fruition.
That does seem pretty unlikely, doesn't it? We are seeing dephh and company looking to start taking some peeks over towards B side of the map. They do have some sheriffs obviously in play. Supamen coming off of mid and just... He's left breach inside male. But Jett could come clear it. And indeed, mummAy will push through and find the breach. So that cuts off that access point. And then the rest just get absolutely mopped up. Only Supamen left. Trying to get the hell out of there.
3K for mummAy. Flawless round on Envy. As expected, though, very low investment. It's picked up. Dignitas can fare better here, but you can see that dephh is going to be down into a Phantom. Not the full armor behind it. Maybe lacking a little bit of utility as well, but 7-7. All even, all to play for. One team will be eliminated and one will move through to the playoffs.
Big round here. Bonus buy, obviously, for Envy, holding on to the Spectres. First full send for Dignitas as far as having rifles in everyone's hands on the attacking side. Aggressive here. Envy lobby is going to be Envy, but mummAy gets caught. But will they know about Kaboose, who also resides in this position, playing at the corner? He's going to get some assistance from Finesse, because he can't really get away without crossing into the crosshairs of dephh. Finesse will... And I wonder if that means that they won't expect another to be here. But no, never mind. dephh too wise to fall for that. I like the idea from Finesse there to try to make them think that he was the last one there, but didn't work out. dephh has played that so well.
There is a vast discrepancy in weapons, though. Effectively, this is a bonus round on Envy. You had a bunch of Spectres coming into this. So not necessarily expecting to stomp this round, I think it's safe to say. Flashpoints are good and allowed Finesse to take the initiative. He's dropped down 2 players, but also the spike. And also has his sheriff, so has that one-tap ability. 30 HP separating him and his demise, but now he's been pushed off his mortal coil by dephh, who's got 3. He gets traded back out again. And now all falls upon crashies, who has funneled away the attackers. The spike is now transitioning and traversing back over onto the A side of the map, and he probably gets caught out by Orderus. It's a freebie, and Dignitas regained the lead.
Yeah, crashies was stuck there. I mean, he knew that there was the threat of the spike transitioning to A side, and he had to just kind of throw on the sneakers of choice that wants to sponsor this stream and get the heck over to the other side of the map, but just gets caught on the rotation. But here comes the first full buy from both sides. Go ahead.
Before Dust, they only had Spectres, and you know, I was expecting when they got the first entries that it was just going to be a cakewalk. You know, they're going to walk through, maybe lose 1 player. The fact that they lost 3 actually forces Psalm down to a Spectre and 2 players at 100 credits. That was a massive round for Envy, if, of course, they can convert this.
Oh, certainly. It's always what you're hoping to gain out of a bonus situation when you don't go for the upgrade. Obviously, Spectres being so good, you never want to throw them away. But it does limit your capabilities in that initial buy round, but no longer. He will be on the operator. Double B, Heaven defense is in place with Kaboose. They have Omen joining from ropes as well now to really reinforce this mid defense for Envy. Finesse has a great camera location that can pretty much see everything. I mean, he's loving it.
Now he's up close to the second he sees someone, he can come off the camera and then stand his ground. Killjoy, though, dephh dropping the lockdown. 6 seconds left to scurry away and vacate the premises. They decide to push in instead. And now the detainment begins. Doesn't catch anybody. And mummAy through the smoke, taking down one, hopping into the air and trying to use his Blade Storm. Connects onto absolutely nobody. Dignitas with a successful post plant comes in, and Food gets caught by the fault line. Can still keep pushing forward though. Does he anticipate the close angle? He does. Spins around for a second. Could be a bubble. Gets more. Through the wall, he takes down MAKKA. Food with an astounding retake.
What a roller coaster ride of a round. I mean, initially it was looking great for Envy, even though the lockdown forced them to play retake. They had a great combo of, you know, mummAy just going in with Jett, using Vanessa's camera to still get an idea of how that push was forming up so he could actually get a shot. Did get one off, popped the Blade Storm, had opportunity for more kills, but just kind of got caught by a push. But then look at Food, just absolutely rinsing them on this retake. They never capitalized on that fault line hitting him. He's able to just kind of creep in, catch his Psalm, having to focus on the rafters. And this shot right here, I don't even know how he knew that he was there. Maybe he got a call out from his teammate and just spammed the pillar, but that was wild.
Yeah, I think it's when you're against 4, you assume that each of these angles, you're not likely to bunch up 2 or 3 at the back of the site. So you have to anticipate they may be using that pillar as cover. So it's just really smart in-game IQ. But then through the dark cover into the head of Finesse. My God.
Why has he done it to him like that?
Dirty.
That's nasty. Filthy.
I suppose the one thing you could say, though, is because it's through the dark cover, he can't get his hands on that fallen weapon.
Sure.
So, you know, there is a bit of a reprieve.
I mean, I guess.
Shadows traveling.
I'm sure Vanessa's head's still reverberating from that blow, though.
Yeah. That doesn't really help my head, though, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It's still a
in
splitting
the
headache. Needs prescription meds. As we are going to see Dignitas put the remaining forces here to just burst onto A. Spotted one on the corner.
Great flash. Finishes up with 2. He goes down, but now it's up to crashies, and he will hold the line. 3 kills for crashies, and Envy take the lead again.
Yeah, it's kind of cruise control so far here for Envy on the defense, as expected. Very strong on this map, on this side. I guess a lot of teams prefer defensive side on split. I think most people consider the game overall geared defensively, although I would say maps like Haven and Ascent definitely have a lot of opportunities for attacking side, just based on how long the rotations can be at times. But either way, Dig are going to be able to at least put their best effort here. They have full rifles. They can go to whatever play they feel is best. Try to set something up. They're going to get some mid control at the very least. Finesse gets a new cam position here inside B Heaven. One you may not really check for if you're Dignitas initially.
Beeps of flashpoints in the distance. Not really yielding any early damage, but information and real estate being gathered on Dignitas. They've already made moves up middle.
Mm-hmm. And with that,
in mail.
They kind of know what they're up against on Envy's side. I mean, they already have 2 in the B site. They have an aggressive angle on B lobby. Cypher's watching the B Heaven push in the spawn.
A kill from kaboose. Showstopper through the dark cover. Does not connect, but his teammates are. They're picking up the slack. Psalm joined alongside supamen, who is tagged. And now the Rolling Thunder is going to hit both. They both get hit by Emperor's Use counteractively. Insta headshot onto crashies. The pressure now gathered for Food. We've already seen him land some crazy retakes, but this will be going a step beyond. And that teleport, Chief, about that one. Yeah. He just got banged.
Do I even need to add to that, or do you think you handled that analysis by yourself? What do you think?
I don't know, man.
I think you got that one. I don't think I need to step in. Let's just say that teleport left you desiring something different. I thought that Rolling Thunder was really going to initiate a nice retake for Envy, but again, Psalm has been spot on with this Reyna.
This is a nice spot. This goes here. That goes
In this
there.
game, he's getting some big assistance from dephh and supamen. They are both playing really, really well. Speaking,
There it is.
The caster's curse, of course.
The good old curse, the classic.
Love to see it. Hate to see it at the same time.
You are right, though. I mean, Psalm's been having a great best of 3 series, but
Oh, yeah.
deph's been a little bit quiet in the first 2 maps. It's good to see him really emerging. in this one, but they're going to need him more than ever here. That player down, finish line within touching reach of both teams.
Oh, yeah.
They need a hero play.
It is indeed neck and neck on the final stretch here. So you're going to see them again, just, you know, Dignitas able to get mid control, able to control both Vince and Male. So again, options open. Can cause a lot of misdirection, can make a lot of quick transitions from site to site, but mummAy has a good angle here, watching ropes, great shot on the Orderus, able to get away as well. They're gonna keep following up though.
One enemy remaining.
So sick. That's so sick from mummAy. Such a beautiful play from mummAy. Gets the first pick, drops knowing that the Rolling Thunder is coming, smokes himself off, forces some of the attention down towards him, and allows his teammate on the site to do the rest of the work. A 3K on top of it. So well played.
Yeah, mummAy's been a consistent star player for this Envy team, and I think that they've only increased their overall firepower with crashies coming in for Aegis. And I think Calypso was obviously a pretty big fragger for them next to mummAy, but I feel like the others have been able to step up, like Food, like Kaboose. They can definitely put in numbers when they need to. And there's a good illustration of what mummAy is capable of. We are going to see Dignitas having to kind of save from the map point and series point play in the next round. Obviously, the Sheriffs will give them some chance to pose a threat. They will again be looking for mid control. Smoke up on Male to allow them to get forward, but there is a trap wire on the Heaven doorway and 3 defenders from Envy in position.
The pin pulled on the paint shell, but Caboose decides against it, puts it back in again. Because he doesn't hear footsteps. And although he saw multiple players pushing in towards the B tower, he can't be sure they fully invested behind this. They're fully committed to this push. Now he realizes it. First kill goes his way, and a second, there's the 3K straight and a fourth. Every bullet used perfectly. Impeccable aim, a 4K. But although it's against Sheriffs, you cannot fault that aim.
Yeah, exactly. That's still a good illustration, especially that last kill. Just that little micro adjustment of the crosshair to get that 4th frag is a testament to his mechanical ability. I mean, some of these guys had really high skill ceilings in Counter-Strike, but they just never were really able to, like, strategically fit into the game as well as maybe they wanted to. But we always knew the aim was there. And so coming over to this game, as they learn the agents and abilities and synergy and compositions, the aim just carries over immediately without having to work at it. And that was a great little run there from Caboose. Gets him flying up the scoreboard. And now this is basically Dignitas' last-ditch effort. That was big. He was way up there, Vince. He was way up there.
I can applaud the effort, definitely the style points, but obviously it didn't connect at all. It did, however, force Dignitas back.
Yeah,
they were toying with the idea of going to A, and that instantly...
Look what else it
nope,
did. They got mummAy in B lobby like this as well. I would say it's kind of like a slight side effect of how that played out early. But you could tell that deph's a little concerned that there might be someone there. He's definitely playing a little bit more cautiously. He got the trap wire down. His alarm bot, though, was taken out. So it's still kind of a stalemate on B lobby, but mummAy still holds a powerful position and can dash out, obviously, right away after taking a shot. Oh, you do hate to see that if you're mummAy.
Well, he holds the angle.
Yeah.
They assume that he's moved out of position, and that baits them in. And mummAy, with one, can just fall back.
Lockdown's about to be initiated here from dephh. He's looking to use that to control this B side, or at least push them back. They ran this a few rounds ago.
30 seconds left.
Oh! Oh!
That was so nearly a crazy play.
I know. I can't believe it's missed.
Oh my god. That being said, the lockdown is still in effect. And now the lockdown has subsided. The curfew is lifted. And Envy will start to try and push in. It will be through smokes. It will be through plenty of utility. And Orderus with a Vandal on point to the cranium of Caboose. But one straight back. Phantom used from finesse. crashies also chipping in. It's looking good. Psalm, he's had such a good series. Can he clutch this one out? No. Very close. Look at the HP bars of crashies and Food. But they still get the job done. More than enough time for the defuse. And 3 match points. 3 playoff points. 3 elimination points come up.
And just to remind you what's on the line
Match
here,
point.
if you lose this series, you are out, and you don't even get a direct seed for placing top 8 in the UMG tournament. You have to start from scratch. That's a big L to take. Meanwhile, winner gets top 8 at bare minimum, you have a slot in the UMG tournament, and you're 1 best of 3 away from making first strike. So there is so much weight on Dignitas and Envy going into these last couple of rounds.
Blow something up.
And we'll see if Dignitas has it in them, but so far all their success has been on islands in a sea of Envy dominance.
Bomb buddy out.
That fault line is so brutal to contend with, and there's a dark cover right behind it. crashies is using his own. Up close, gets 2. And a flashpoint behind it finally gets charged down. Sam gets the retreat. I don't think that will be good enough. Envy still have a player up.
Indeed they do, and now mummAy's in position with the operator to add on to it. Food pitching in as well, now all on supamen.
That's going to do it. That's going to seal the deal. Envy take the best of 3 and secure their spot in the playoff. It was labored. It was by no means guaranteed, but they got there eventually, Dust. Well played, though, has to go out to Dignitas because they made a real go and a real effort of this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to give them props for taking them out.